Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today actually a video that was requested by me personally by somebody on Twitter, and honest to God only reason why I am actually making this video is because the person went through the trouble to make a thumbnail already for my video, and he seemed sincere, and it was to do with awakening gems. And I don't think I recall kind of like having seen anybody really discuss where and how to obtain these awakening gems. So obviously before we get into the video, we can only kind of like list here, and I can only point and guide you to the awakening gems that are available in permanent content. When truth of the matter is, vast majority of the awakening gems that have been added to the game overall were some offers through cash or some special events and things like that that are not currently available in the game anymore. Or quite often you get them when you get your max sig ability crystals, but that is much later on in the game. However, we can account for the awakening gems that are in permanent content, and with that we can start with the 4-star awakening gems. And as it turns out, this game doesn't actually offer too many 4-star awakening gems in permanent content, so that is an interesting perspective, I guess. So we can start with first 4-star awakening gem you can earn in game is going to be Act 4. So that is for 100% basically, yes. So once you 100% explore Act 4, you get a generic gem. There we go. That grants you your first 4-star awakening gem. So we can go and check it out. So you can see here in rewards, once you pop down to Act 4, you view rewards. And yeah, here we go. 4-star generic awakening gem for tier 2 alphas, and you do not get gems for the previous chapters. So that is like the first awakening gem you earn realistically for 4-star champions, like in a game, if you're following the progression. Then the next gem is in fact in 5.1. So 5.1, 100%. Whoops, 100%. And that is also generic gem. So maybe if you do not plan to explore entire Act 4, because there may not be too big of a need, once you pop into Act 5, you can see that in the exploration of the first chapter, which is by far the easiest chapter of Act 5, I should add, and is relatively easy to explore, is a 4-star awakening gem there. And then we do have additional 4-star awakening gem hidden in special quests. Not here, not known quests, special quests in Road to the Labyrinth. And that pretty much is it. So we have Road to Lab. That is 100% reward, class gem. 100%. And here we go. These are the only 3 4-star awakening gems that I could potentially find myself in this game, scattered about anywhere realistically. But to be fair, realistically, you're not going to be hunting for your 4-star awakening gems too much. At least I don't think you will be. But if you are, then here they are. We have Act 4 100%, 5.1 100%, and Road to the Labyrinth. First to give you generic 4-star gem, and the second one gives you a class gem. And other than that, you can obviously just follow and check what kind of side events come on, and occasionally you do get some gems over there. But now let's jump into the juicier subject, the subject that everybody is much more keen about, and that is 5-star gems. And as it turns out, there is quite many more of 5-star gems available in permanent content in this game. And we again will start kind of like in the order as you will likely have a chance to access them. And the first one of them would be 5.3 100%. Does have class gem. So that's it. That is your first chance of obtaining a 5-star awakening gem by completely exploring 5.3. Now that is a fairly dreary and long and boring, and in my personal opinion, unsuccessful piece of content, but nonetheless, that is the first place where you can get a 5-star awakening gem. It's a shame Kabam didn't follow in the same footsteps and awarded us with a 6-star gem in 6.3, but you can't get everything. And then we have 5.4, and 5.4 is the same deal basically, 100%, and 100% will give you class awakening gem once again. And then once you completely explore Act 5, 1 second, I forgot to streamline this. There we go. And Act 5 overall exploration. So we have Act 5, 100% gives you generic gem. There you go. So that is the first generic gem you can acquire in the game, and I believe that is one of the 2 generic 5-star awakening gems in game in permanent content, period. Generic 5-star awakening gems are still a rare commodity. You do not get to gather those often, and as we can see here in permanent content, currently we only have 2 5-star awakening gems available in total, and one of them is by fully exploring Act 5. And now we can move on, and we have Labyrinth. Labyrinth offers 2 awakening gems, so we're gonna go with LOL first clear. So LOL first gives you class gem, and LOL 100% gives you generic gem. And this is basically the second place where you can get a 5-star awakening gem in the game currently, and a permanent piece of content. As I mentioned, there's only 2 generic gems available, and that is pretty much largely one of the main kind of like drawing aspects of Labyrinth of Legend still, because many people have said that the rewards of Labyrinth of Legend have been severely outdated, and for the vast majority of the time, yes, it's true. They are not relevant when it comes to your 6 stars or taking 5 stars to rank 5, so on and so forth. But one of the biggest things they do have in there is the 5-star awakening gem. That's generic, that you can use to whoever you want, and that is, in my opinion, pretty much good enough incentive to actually go and explore that piece of content, because that awakening gem is rare, and if you have Aegon, for instance, it's extremely cheap and easy these days to explore Labyrinth. It's hard. The hardships of Labyrinth have basically gone away pretty much completely. You can explore entire Labyrinth well under an Odin of worth of items. And if you do that, then if you put it in perspective, then that's still well worth the effort, considering how cheap it can be these days if you have the champions for it. And doing that in total gives you 2 awakening gems. It gives you 12 tier 2 alphas, which are always useful, a bunch of tier 4 CCs, and so on and so forth. So even though these will not be the most groundbreaking rewards for your account, I still think if you have a good option to explore Labyrinth, and if you have the roster supporting that, you still should do it for this generic gem and for all of the other stuff you get as a bundle. Now, that being said, this would have been it, but we have had variants added to the game, and that is basically the final place. So we have 4 times variant 100% class gems. So currently in the game we have 4 variants added as permanent piece of content. They are realistically not the most difficult piece of content anymore by today's standards, especially when it comes in comparison to like Act 6, 2.2 and 3 or Abyss. And you can get a whole bunch of 5-star awakening gems from here. In my personal kind of like valuation of difficulty of these variants, they pretty much go 4 is the easiest, 3 is the second easiest, 2 is the third easiest, and 1 is the hardest. So they go in reverse order as they have been released. 4, 3, 2, 1, in my opinion, is pretty much how you should tackle these variants. Obviously, it does kind of depend on your roster. Variant 4 pretty much does demand you to have 1-star Hulk, which is funny, but it's one of the main requirements. Variant 3 demands you to have some good tech champion like Ghost, like Sentinel, like Warlock. Variant 2 demands you to have some really good XL champions, and Variant 1 demands you to have a lot of good champions. And so therefore Variant 1 is definitely the most roster demanding and difficult one to do, and it's also the longest one. So all of that being said, that each one of them have a 5-star class awakening gem available for them, and these are also a good place to go and try and grab one. So this is pretty much it. So we had only 3 4-star awakening gems in the game total. When it comes to 5-star awakening gems, we have 3, 4, 5, 9 of them. So we have significantly more 5-star awakening gems in game than we do 4 stars. And as for 6-star awakening gems, I'm not even gonna write it down. Only place where you can get 6-star awakening gems these days is Abyss. Without a doubt, in future we will have some more places where you can get them, likely 6.4 or Act 6 overall rewards. But currently, to acquire 6-star awakening gems, you do have to jump in Abyss, and there is again one class one generic one, and that is the only place where you can get those. All of that being said, that is the current situation with all of the awakening gems that are available in a permanent piece of content. If I'm not mistaken though, not the glory store, not the loyalty, what was I looking for? Black ISO market? No, they don't have gems. I don't think there are any gems available pretty much anywhere else. Oh, I know what I was missing. Last month event, we have Squirrel event, and there we had a 4-star awakening gem which you could purchase, and 5-star awakening gem which you could get from the milestones. Right, that is what I was mixing it up. But yeah, so basically that's it. We have 3 4-star awakening gems in game currently in permanent content. We have 9 5-star awakening gems, 2 of them generic only, vast majority, 7 of them being class awakening gems, and only place to get 6-star awakening gems is in Abyss of Legends. So that will pretty much do for today's video. I hope you guys find it useful, because sometimes it's just helpful when somebody lays it out for you and you can realistically check which piece of content you are more likely to be able to complete next in order to try and get the awakening gem that you need. And yeah, if this video did help you, then let me know and hit that like button, hit that sub button, leave a comment, all that good stuff. So yeah.